Changing your names up on the regular, I see. That's good. Daggone, it's probably been what has it been, like 11 months or so since I've been on here. It's been a hot minute. So yeah, I have been busy. I've been having fun. I just I don't want to complain too much about this platform. It's like a it's like a love hate thing because on one hand I can't reach anybody and it's not worth spending 9-10 hours making a video that's not going anywhere, and then on the other hand I still get 20-30 likes a day from the videos I've made years ago. So it's like it's just a weird. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't want to complain too much, but I've just been I've just been busy having fun, enjoying life, and doing all kinds of things. And hope y'all been you know navigating. And um, I've shifted to honestly Instagram, which is kind of wild. To be honest with you, I was enjoying this platform so much, and then it just I don't know. It was right around when it went changed ownerships and server locations and all that stuff, and stuff just started getting kind of weird with it, and then. I just started enjoying Instagram a little more, just because of the way it flowed and whatnot. And but other than that, I've been just enjoying my family, been working, been getting involved in all kinds of things, and real estate and traveling, and on and on and on. All my platforms are the same, Margaret. All the it's child rules, child underscore rules. It makes it kind of easy. You can find me on YouTube, find me on TikTok, find me on. Actually, I don't think that's the name for my Telegram. But all of my links, all of my social medias are linked on my website, which is linked on my profile page. And I hate to say this, but I ended up I stopped paying for my phone subscription not too long ago because I hadn't received a phone call on it in probably 9 months, 10 months. Just it wasn't worth me spending $10 a month. I just figured if somebody wants to reach out to me, and I don't want to put my straight phone number up on this stuff because I go out to millions of people, and next thing I know, I got random people looking into everything I do and stuff. It's crazy. So I'm on here because mainly I miss y'all, but also the stuff that's been going on is kind of wild. The with the advent of AI that's being released and the exponential increases in technology and whatnot is one of the topics that I wanted to touch base on. I mean, from every sector, and you can tell when something is being pushed from the top down, which is not necessarily a psyop, but it's more of a controlled release. So, and I'll give y'all an example. There is nothing that everybody agrees upon, right? You can go into any room and you'll find opposing, for, against, or neutral, basically parties on any subject, all right? So, whenever you see something that is being suddenly implemented all over the earth, like AI, you can tell that that is not something that is normal. Okay, that is not something that's being implemented at a normal pace. That is being pushed in every crevice from the top down, and part of me, and I got to be careful how I speak and the way I word and frame things, but part of me wants to say, the ultimate long-term goal is to have the robotic machines doing everything, all, and it's tough because they don't require lunch breaks, they don't whine, they don't get pregnant, don't need workman's comp, they don't have to complain or anything, not going to lodge or sue you. I mean, but the way this stuff is going, it's getting wild. Ja, nice to see you too. Or Ja, I don't remember if it was Ja or Ja. But yeah, it's been a long time. I figured I'd come on here and hop and just talk to y'all and just see how y'all been, because I still get on here. Like, I still get on and check a couple videos here and there, and I check all my messages, and I see interesting things all the time, and some of my friends that are posting stuff, I try to like and follow that stuff. But yeah, so getting back onto the AI thing, it is sorry, Rogue, you said, do I use LLCs in trust? Yes, everything is in trust. Everything, and it just depends on if you want to control what you create, right? So, for instance, if you want to put stuff and segregate it and have the control of it, then you can create it, and then it depends on how you want to register it, or if you want to have true controlling title of that. Then that's how you would craft it and draft it. So, but anyway, back to the AI thing. So, and I've enjoyed using it's almost like having a free assistant, because you can ask questions and it'll just populate. I'll be like, draft me a legal agreement between me and such on this and the other. I've got somebody that wants to rent a parking space on my land. Like I'll just say, hey, come up with a formal agreement to blah 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 blah, and then it'll just draft it, and then you proofread it, you can change it, you can update. It makes everything pretty easy. But I've been seeing some stuff that it looks like these things are going to be knocking on doors soon, checking for papers, like or we're going to be fighting these things for resources one day or something, And it was so funny when I see videos of robots like going around like kicking in doors and shooting things and stuff like that, and the top comment is humanity's entire existence is floating on one line of code that says do not hurt humans. Like, can you imagine, like, once that is bypassed, and when AI start talking together and you start doing hive mind and you start and they're able to like go into let me just put this out for y'all. Like, this is how bad it is, and people have absolutely no clue. I don't know how shielded everybody is or how learned everybody is, but a virus can now be made every second. Mel, thank you so much for the rose, you beautiful thing. I'm very appreciative. So I was talking with an AI guy, and he said a lot of the big companies don't want to talk about this, don't want to scare people, don't want to. But the way AI is now, a new virus can be created every single second. And even though that there are scanners and there are different types of things that are implemented to try to help and prevent viruses from taking over a company and a computer, there's no way to keep up. It's impossible when you can have an ever morphing or shaping or shifting type of virus. And I got hacked not too long ago. And this is like the first time that I know of. I mean, I know I'm watched by some big alphabet, companies and all that stuff for the stuff that I talk about and I'm into. But somehow, I don't know how I did it, I had a file on my download folder that I had never seen before. And I clicked on it and it disappeared. And I was like, that's suspect. And I didn't do anything. And next thing you know, I got computers trying to get bought, money getting transferred, freaking bull riding tickets being bought from somewhere, like on and on and on. I was like, dang, and they were doing this stuff quick. So I had to log out of every single thing that every Gmail, change bank accounts, usernames, like passwords. Like it was kind of a nightmare trying to get up. But I was very impressed with how proficient the hacker was to be able to do what they did. I dabbled into that stuff very, very slightly, and I scared myself from ever wanting to be into the hacking game just because of it was weird. And this is probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I was able to see everybody's open computer ports within a 3-mile radius from my computer, and it started because I didn't have the password to my Wi-Fi, and I had to figure out how to hack it. And I did. I created a handshake from behind whatever. I don't know how I was like in the zone, figured it out, hacked my own Wi-Fi password. And during that time, I saw the potential of being of hacking. I was like, this is too powerful. I don't want anything to do with this stuff. Like it's just too much. Camera source obstructed. Yeah, no. Barbalo, that's an interesting name, Rogue. That's what language is. The inner monologue is a parasite. Your inner monologue. If you look at the Bible, it says that I will write my laws on your hearts and minds. So that inner morale, that inner guidance is there for a reason. That's where the true law is supposed to be written, and you're supposed to hold it true. When you start going by written words and engraved signatures and all that stuff, that's when stuff starts getting tainted and getting diluted into a wrong way. Gray Man Patriot, what is up? How you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming on. It's been a while. It's been probably like 11 months, and I'm just trying to get back in a groove and stuff. And wanted to come on here. And again, guys, this live will be on YouTube. All my social medias are linked on my profile page of TikTok. I have playlists that can help educate you from the ground up, floor down, top all over, like regut, clean, flip, everything, like all these videos. And then all that information is also on my website, and all this stuff is free. I've thought about charging people $2 to access it, because it's just something in the human psyche that they find value in scarcity. So by giving it away for free, it's almost like nobody cares about it. Nobody wants it. One of my old mentors, he didn't need the money, and he would charge $2 per chat. He would talk for an hour, and it was the most beautiful gold that you could ever imagine that you'd get, because he was very well knowledgeable in the commercial realm and banking and some spiritual stuff. Mel, I wanted to say thank you so much for the bouquet. Your gifts are very, very welcomed and warm-hearted, and they are used to help others, because I love putting out the time and effort. Thank you for the heart too, you sweet, beautiful thing. So, your gifts will be used to help me on my journey to help others and enlighten people. And that is what I'm actually here for. My walk and my mission is to enlighten people about the three different lights of commerce, spirit, and nature, and the three different lights that govern those sources, and the three foundations that you can build upon are those as well. Gray Man Patriot. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a good man. I'm just a guy. I'm here to lay down my energy, because I think one of the biggest things that someone can do is self-sacrifice for others, right? Once you've secured your own, and you have to be in a very good place, and inner peace comes from knowledge, knowing that you are whole, right? And once you find that inner peace, it's so much easier to resonate outward with love, and to help others, and come from a higher, more beautiful, peaceful frequency. And people can feel that stuff. They love it. They want to be around it. Like, if you have a terrible come from, I'm actually going through a little bit of sickness myself, so that's actually why I didn't come on yesterday. I wanted to come on the day before, but I've actually been having a little bit of chest congestion. But what I was saying is, if you have a terrible come from, people don't want to be around that. They can sense that there's something like animosity or something, and like they just don't want to be around it. So when you find inner peace, and you're actually walking, like it's all about vibration and frequency. Like, people can feel that stuff. I really wish I could pronounce your handle. Koyalakyo Yahui. Oh, that's kind of impressive that you could type all that with dots. I'm glad that that's what's on your mind. And Capistan. So circumcision is definitely with you. But anyway, recruit you for free. Oh yeah, what can you do? Because I've tried to reach out to some people to help me. I've got like hundreds of videos that I've downloaded from TikTok. I used to do that full time. I download all these great videos to post on my website for everybody else to have for free, because that's actually what I've built, is quite an elaborate library for people to have access to help them on their journeys. And one of the hardest things, we get caught up in all the shenanigans and semantics of day-to-day life, and it's hard to find time to try to study, and it's hard to try to find time to be peaceful and come from a place of knowledge and love. And then on top of that, there's so much misinformation out there. Lady Stacy, it's very nice to meet you too. Thanks for joining. Again, guys, this live will be on YouTube. All my social medias are linked on my profile page. You can scroll through them. I have playlists to help re-educate everybody on a case-by-case basis. I'll help you if you reach out to me and you need additional help. But almost everything's there in my playlist. I always suggest to watch the playlist. It takes forever, yes, but think about the Rockefeller-controlled school that we went through. We went through 12 years of indoctrination. It doesn't change overnight. It takes a little bit of time for us to crawl out of the sickness that we've been. And can you blame your parents? Do you blame their parents? Do you blame, it's just, everything is a self journey, and you have to take the steps on your own. Because if you expect someone to hold your hand through everything in life, it's going to be very cumbersome from them. But yes, we all need a little push and a little bit of guidance here and there, and that's kind of like what I'm here to do. I'm here to, lay some good foundations and point everybody to the direction, to the best of my knowledge, of the things that I've learned over the last 14 years, because I've continued to study, and I keep learning, and life is amazing. And I can tell you one thing that's really amazing that I've been learning is studying women's psychology. that has been something that just blew my mind. When you start getting away from logic and emotion based beings, it's just like, it's amazing though. It's just, it's different. Our energies together are really amazing, with male and female. But where? What do you mean? Where, my friend? Stacy, the path is very well worth it. It is. It is very. It is. It is worth it. And one of the tricks of the enemy, and this happened to me. One of the tricks of the enemy is in making it seem like, taking the path that is less traveled is not worth it, and is a bad decision. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to get deterred. It's so easy to get off path, because we are constantly, this animal is constantly wanting oxygen, water, to eat, to get it on, like to do all these things. And the substance, the source of the mind, the spirit, is basically what controls everything. And trying to seize those things, seize those thoughts, and take control of the body is not an easy step. And that's where I laid out the 7 days of the spiritual walk, to try to help understand how to control the body, and to basically start becoming closer and closer into a spiritual light. I'm just gonna call you Koyo, because that is Koyo Loksa Holahoy. Where do we see your audio video? You talking about my playlist? They're on my profile page of TikTok. And then my website is anointednewfoundationofpeace.life. So what's crazy, Lady Stacy? Thanks for the rose love, Savvy. I appreciate that. All these beautiful girls are throwing me roses. I need to throw some roses back. Like, what's up? Appreciate you. Thanks for everything. Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for joining me again. It's been like 11 months since I've been on here, and I kind of want to come here and talk about some of the things that I've been seeing with the world. I've been seeing some very fast-paced moving AI, and it has been implemented. Like I said, it feels like it's coming from the top down, and it's one of those things where you've got to start learning the stuff. It's already starting to replace people's jobs. That is kind of, I think, the ultimate goal, is to get everybody's jobs away from them, get everybody relying on the system, a financial reset, if you will, possibly. Lady Stacy, free will, every choice leads to another, which will eventually become your path. Choose wisely. Yes, but you can also, you can craft your path. Queenie, how are you? I need to follow you back, but you're a punk, and I need to chat with you. I didn't even read your last messages. Anyway, thanks for coming on, my moderator. Yeah, like, you're one of my only 2 moderators somehow still. Lady Stacy, the crazy is when you get into the psychological part, like you were saying. Oh, I know. Yeah, so that's what gets kind of wild, where you start looking into how and it's very complementary, right? So if a man embodies his masculine, and that's one of the main problems that women face today, is men are not embodying the masculine, and part of this is by design, with the hormones and all the stuff in the food and all this. It's just like, men are starting to act feminine because they're going off of how they feel, instead of being a dominant foundational frame for a woman to operate off of. They're being very feminine, and going off of feelings and emotion and stuff like that. And then what's wild is a woman will actually test men, and by design, it's crazy. Like, the main majority of divorces are from women leaving men, and this sounds crazy, and it blew my mind, and I'm sorry. Women leaving men because men do everything they can for the woman. They give the woman everything they want, everything they ask for. They bend over backwards. They're like, yes, ma'am. And it boils down mainly because guys are just so happy that they're getting laid that's all they really care about or think about. And so once a guy hooks up with a girl, they're just like, oh man, I just feel so lucky to even have a chick. And then I'll do anything for you because I have you now. So it's just like, I just want to keep you. And then that ends up actually pushing the woman away. And instead of and a woman will start becoming masculine, and end up being the dominant force. And when a woman starts being masculine, it actually takes her out of her feminine, and makes her want to it makes her sick. Like, she doesn't want to be around the man anymore, because it's like, now she's your man. It's like I ain't looking for that. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that I've studied of, like, a very quick high level glance on the woman and male psyche. But if you get the two together and they're very compatible, and the masculine puts the woman in the feminine, and the feminine puts the woman in the masculine, like it's beautiful, because men are supposed to be logical and women are illogical by going off of emotions, but feelings are very powerful and it's very substance based. So again, full circle, when you find the two right energies together that can interlock, it's very beneficial. So but again, so circling back to AI, and this would you say weak men make unhappy women? Yes, they do. But it is hard. It's hard to tell a woman no sometimes. It is, especially when you're trying to be peaceful, you're trying to be loving, and guys are normally really sweet. And what ends up happening, and this is it's just a very unfortunate truth. I'm very fortunate to have a great wife. Yeah, that is good. Queenie, you penning that good stuff. This is an I done lost my train of thought, but yeah. So yeah, it is good to find a good partner that is on a walk with you and doesn't disappear, and is there to support you and be on your back and in your corner. That's great. But this is what I would say. It's an unfortunate biological design of women. They are asset extractors. That is part of their biology for survival. Like, and I talk with my friend all the time about this. Like, I couldn't imagine being a source of beauty, of where, I've seen women gawk at me and holler at me, and like, and it's funny, it's the same way a woman feels. If the girl's hot, it's kind of like, yeah, like, holler at me, like, it's cool. If she's not, it's kind of like, I'm good, like, it's very shallow. It's just, and it sucks. But guys are very superficial on the outside with looks and stuff, but women's biological design is for asset extraction, and that's because they're infinitely more complex, because they can bear children. So they have to look out for the protection of the kids and the future and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like how they're designed and stuff. But anyway, all right, back to AI. So AI is being implemented very heavily into all of our aspects of life, and within the next 5 years, and I mean, I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing where it's going. Between the digital ID, the implementation of a digital currency that's going to be tied to it, and basically AI robots that can do everybody's job better than them, and then everybody's going to be relying on the system. They're talking about universal basic income, which is just basically like everybody gets paid a certain amount no matter what. And it's not necessarily so much just so you can do nothing. It's more so that you can survive, because now all the jobs are being replaced. And I actually, if you go back into my video a long time ago, that shows the nanotechnology that was in the what do you call it, the vertical dirt nap sauce. It shows that, like, elite people are up in the sky with robots doing all the work for them. Like, and that's like a progression thing that I believe is the long-term goal for this thing. So guys, this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. All of my social medias are linked on my profile page, including my website, which has all kinds of free access information of stuff that I've learned over 14 years, has free videos, has free seminars, webinars, stuff that I've paid for and built, and to give everybody for free, to have the knowledge and ability to try to understand the things that are going on around us. Most people want to be like in Plato's allegory, where you're just blind and you're in a cave, and you think what's going on out there is the truth, and it's not. The natural realm is temporary. It is just a temporary thing. The truth is in the spiritual. That is the long term. Queenie, double tap that screen. Cool. I can see stuff you're pinning now. I think before, and this is 11 months ago, I couldn't see that stuff. Let's see a scroll. They're going to liquidate people's 401k into the new system. 30 hours mandatory community service and small housing for the homeless. Okay. Yes, some of those things, as I'm walking and operating, I've very, very, very few times have I been led to give a homeless person money or give a homeless person anything. Typically, it'll be like a spiritual thing to help them out. But and part of that is because they're in the place that they are for a reason, because you got to remember that karma was established for a reason. There's actions, or there's consequences for your actions. That is for a reason, and it's basically how we're all tied together and through the ether and through the different three lights, like through the commercial light, the spiritual light, and the natural light. Like everything's tied together from the macro to the micro and in and out. Like it's amplified. Everything is like a reflection, and everything's tied together. So and that was one of the problems I had when I was trying to lay the foundations of nature, spirit, and commerce, because they're all intertwined, all interconnected, and like all like intersect and go into each other and blur the lines. And so when I'm trying to put videos up, for instance, like us, we are three bodies in one. A human it has a spiritual body, they have a physical body, and then they can't do anything without commerce. So it's like you have to be all three. You have to be the beginning, the end, and the middle, like alpha, omega, and all that stuff. Universal basic income, that I think might be a very temporary solution. And what I've seen, and this is unfortunate about like the United States, for instance. The United States is what they have to do is things very, 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 very quickly, because they only have 4 years in between each president. And a lot of these other countries, they have 15, 20, 30 years. They're able to implement stuff thinking 50 years down the road, 100 years down the road, and they're able to implement things on a very long-term basis, as far as like if you look at it like a game board. Barbara, you're a blasphemer, sorcerer, and a heretic. I have no problem intervening in some... What in the world? That sounds terrible, from just reading that. Ken Sumarone, a lot of people are homeless from working to buy a home to have it stolen from foreclosure. So that's some of the things that I teach about, and I teach how to get true controlling title of things. If you go onto my class folder of my website, there's a lot of information on how, David Straight, I think, did one of the best layouts of how to get the true controlling title. No, I'll tell you what, David Straight helped some. The best person I know of, it's in my home folder, Leslie Jack Smith. He died. He was one of my greatest teachers. He basically explained how you get the controlling title of your property and how to record it and basically tell the county to kick rocks afterwards. But the county recorders want to fight you. They don't want to record stuff because and that's one of the reasons why I didn't go through the DTC either, is because it's one of those things where you get one shot, you get one chance. You've got to, if you're going into the county recorder's office, you better be dressed like a lawyer, have everything, like have a suitcase, be all fresh and professional. Don't go in there with your flip-flops on and your freaking Nikes and or whatever shirt, Air Force Ones, and try to go in there and be professional. I mean, you can, of course, but if you're trying to get controlling title of something, or it's the first time you're trying to do something, you could get tripped up real easy, and then you're going to be on everybody's radar. Like as soon as you mess up, they're going to be watching you, and you got to be very, very careful about that stuff. Barbara, you intervened in my family's generational karma by teaching me about commerce. I can't go back. So you don't put that on me. Don't put me on. No, I've honestly, and that's part of why I started off saying that I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok, because if you go back to look through my videos, if you go back to when I released that poem, I released a poem just to see what would happen. This was a poem. I created everything. I wrote the lyrics. I designed it. Took me 15 hours. I put it out there. TikTok banned it. They banned it immediately. They said it was like a QR code. I couldn't put it out, and I was like, dang, this is what I'm fighting, But on the other hand, I've also reached millions of people because of this platform. And I've reached so many people that I'll be scrolling through Instagram and I'll see my videos that people have stolen from TikTok and put on Instagram. And it's like, I have people calling me and they tell me I'm famous. And I'm like, it's kind of like a flex, especially when I'm rolling with a chick, or something like that. And I got somebody like, oh yeah, you're famous, this, that. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And just the amount of people and influence that I've had on this platform, I'm forever grateful. I released a video on smart meters, and it went out to 500,000 people, and I was like, dang, I can reach some people with this thing. till I talked about chemtrails and all these other things. And it's weird. It's like TikTok they'll allow some things. I can't put a poll out, but then I can talk about how the DTC is where all the titles of the world are held or something. Or I talk about chemtrails and they ban it immediately. I talk about traveling without a license, which is, permission to do something illegal. And they don't like it, so it's just like a flip-flop thing. Oh yeah, I promised I wasn't going to complain too much. Thank you, Koyo. I'm grateful for y'all too. I mean, I'm here for y'all. Like I have all this. Like y'all could use me. Like y'all can ask any question you want, and I'll do my best to give you the good guidance that I can. Now, 99% of the time, what happens with people is, and I tell them, I'm like, unless it's a very emergent thing, I say check out my playlists and then circle back, and I never hear from them again. And part of that is because daggone, yeah, it's a lot of videos. Yeah, it'll take you a few hours. It takes time, but so does nothing comes easy. Usually, if it's easy, it is not right. And that's just one of those things, the way it is in life. If it's easy, like fact check that, because normally things ain't easy. I see y'all chatting. The Devil's Queenie says, beautiful Queenie, Rogue, doing the devil's work can so very likely get you shot. Oh my goodness, would girl, y'all wild. We are forever grateful for you. Thank you again. What's the Pharisees, Sadducees, Rome's? Okay, actually, I'm liking that what you're talking about, Rogue, with the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Those are the scribes of the written law, right? So that's part of what everybody leans on. What's funny, there's a story that David Straight used to teach about, is there's a famous lawyer. He passed the bar, and they were in the satellite needle and looking out all over the nights. They had rented it, and they're looking out, and the head of the attorney firm or the law firm asks the new guy, he's like, what do you see out there? And he's like, I see all these cars, all these businesses, all this stuff. And he says, who do you think controls all of them? And the guy's like, we the people, we elect and the guy was like, no. It is us, the attorneys, who control everything. Not one piece of paper gets moved without going through an attorney. Not one piece of legislation, not one piece of this, that, and the other. And the guy ended up resigning. He ended up tearing up his bar card and being like, this isn't what I was here for. That's not what I want. And that's the unfortunate truth, is that people lean on the legal system in an unhealthy way. Everything in moderation, right? And that's one of those things that comes from biblical teaching, is you must be full and empty. You must be satisfied and hungry, right? In all things. So when it comes to the written law, it is a very powerful tool. You can bind the people that are registered to those codes, right? That's the only thing that I ever use the codes for in the law, is to understand. Oh my gosh, the Talmud. Yes, I started reading the Talmud, Rogue, and that's actually something that blew my mind, because I had no clue. I started going down that rabbit trail. That's my newest conspiracy, is learning about how the Goyim are worthless, which is wild. And if you read the Talmud and then you look at what's going on out here in society, you will see that they're trying to exterminate the wild animals. Because there's fluoride in our water, there's chemtrails in our sky, there's GMO in all the food with nanotechnology everywhere and everything. We're getting bombarded. If one of my teachers, they told me, if you could see the amount of cell phone radiation, the amount of Wi-Fi, the amount of invisible frequencies and radios that are bombarding our cells 24 hours a day, your head would explode. And that is part of what throws us completely out of harmony, is that continuous bombardment on our cells and stuff like that. Truth Pundit. I sued my mortgage company asking them to prove authority to enforce lien. They are winning. Yeah, they're gonna win, And part of that is because contracts are enforceable. And when you sign up as the authorized representative of the U.S. citizen, and then on the public, you give them the signature, and then they turn around and create an asset from your signature as the authorized party. Then they turn around and call you a debtor, and you agree to that. Then you start paying on it. And you got to remember, they've been authorized by Congress to convert your signature into an asset. And so when they switch that and call you a a debtor and you accept it, and you start paying on it and all that stuff, you start marching down the road, and then you get in default or whatever, and then you start trying to climb out of that hole. That's a tough battle. Even my most advanced teacher, and this guy, when I say advanced, I'm talking about, this is the only guy I know of on earth that has gotten a letter from the IRS that says you cannot use our services anymore. And so whenever he works for anybody or anything, he has to tell them he's literally not allowed to get taxed. Like, that kind of advanced. This guy says mortgages are like one of the absolute hardest things on earth to try to beat, and it is a death grip for a reason. Mortgage is a death grip. It just, it's like anything though. It doesn't matter what the truth is; it matters what you can prove and enforce. So again, on one hand on the scale, and that's what the blind lady justice is when you're bringing two different. Let me see if I can find it. If you're bringing two different things in front of her. And the mortgage company on one hand has this thing that you've signed and started performing to, and then all of a sudden you're in a default. And then on the other hand, you're over here trying to say it's fraudulent. I don't like it anymore because I'm behind. And it's kind of like, you're in default. You're in breach. You're not performing according to contract, and contracts are enforceable. So what are you bringing on the other side of the table to balance the scales? Are you it's basically. That's is as simple as it gets. Everybody takes court cases as you might not be in default, and that's actually the best way to try to attempt to approach the fraud. And it's not so much fraud as it's just we're unlearned, because when you're engaged in commerce, you are presumed to know what you're doing. So when you get called on that stuff, or you're trying to call them out, you have to be able to prove it. It's all about contract law. I've been. All right, hold on, Rogue. I am of Afro Mestizo. I have no clue what that is. I've never heard of that. That's an interesting. If I Google that, where there be some crazy stuff, mestizo. For Afro Mexican, that's cool. Refers to people of mixed African, indigenous, and European ancestry. Okay, that's sweet. Jamie Ponce, I've been scammed by so many trying to free myself from the system and take control of my straw man. Yeah, and you'll keep getting scammed because you didn't create the straw man, so you can't control it. It is just a tool that you can use. If you watch my videos, which are for free, it will show you all the things that you can do as a sovereign. You're not that U.S. citizen. It's just a tool that you can use, and it'll show you all the way from dipping into the private side of the assets through the DTC, all the way up to if you want to create and take controlling title of your own land and create your own freaking well and make your own food and mint your own coins and make your own money and have the true controlling title of your kids and like all that stuff. Like all that stuff's in the playlist of my profile. And again, that's part of why TikTok and I have a love-hate relationship, because they kind of don't. And then like I'll see, it's so funny because I'll see something that I get banned on, something that I talk about that they'll shut down. I'll see somebody post something and it's the exact thing that I said, but it's going out to millions of people. And it's like, oh, you suck. Jamie, I recommend watching the playlists on my profile in order. Foundation, Nature, Spirit, and Commerce. That's just, I need to redo them all, but I can't do everything. And tender by performance, that's almost one of those maxims in law, which are, you when you're doing something, your actions speak louder than words. It's by actions that contracts can be created as well, through tacit acquiescence or through actions or performance and stuff. Everything is so easy to get scammed with. There's so much false information out there, and you got to be very careful. I've spent 12, 13, we're 14 years now, like studying all this stuff, trying to put all the pieces together. I have a very good foundational knowledge of stuff, but again, I was not raised in the Skull and Bone Society. I didn't go to a class where I was sat down and taught the way, the real way that everything works, by dipping into the private side through back office banking and using bonds and stuff like that to be able to operate on closed accounts and do all this stuff like the people in those private societies were taught, and then given a Porsche, because money's all a scam, it's all smoke and mirrors, and it's all a game. But the game is rigged. So my new motto and my new saying is, I'm using the hand that I've been dealt in a rigged game. Like, that's all we can do, and that's just, it's the way it is. All right, I'm getting backed up on messages. Did you just out one of Francis Bacon's spells? What did I? I don't know. I'm not in default. Was trying. I did mention that. Got to stay in honor. Yes, absolutely, Koyo. Stay in honor 100% all the time. Guys, if you want to re-listen to this live, it'll be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I have exclusive content on all my social medias. Feel free to browse my social medias, which are linked on my profile page of TikTok. You can also browse my website, which has information that I've gained and gathered for the last 15 years and put on there. It's free for everybody. I also give consultations. You can DM me, you can email me, and you can write me. I did just recently turn off my phone for people to call, and it was like that for 2.5, 3 years. You could just pick up the phone and call me. I had a number on my website, but yeah, I just recently you can still reach out to me besides calling. Some people don't like talking, they just want to text, and I'll get a message on TikTok, and it's like 48 paragraphs long, like, and I'm just scrolling and scrolling. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta be in the mood. I gotta be in the mood for that. That's tough money. All right, tender by performance. Where do you recommend to start? All right, answer that. By the way, I was able to prove 8K was not blank money. My motion for return, prop evidence was granted. I need to talk with you again. I'm sorry. I saw your message on Facebook. I'll holler at you. Thank you, moderator. You pin a comment. Queenie, you goo. You're in VA, moving to Asheville. Yes, I am in VA. That is correct. Y'all girls. Oh, thanks for the heart. Much love. Y'all are so sweet. Girls connecting. Sweet. All right, Barbara was saying the 9/11 looked like the structured demolition they took us to. Oh, I know it was demolition. The 911, that was pre-planned. That was all like premeditated, planned for a long time. And I just saw a Epstein thing. I don't know what'll get me banned anymore. Like, I've only been kicked off of TikTok a couple times for things that I've said. And not today. So thank you for the heart. I didn't see who sent that. Thank you again, Love Savvy, for the roses. You guys are so much appreciated. Like, all your gifts will be used to help others on this enlightening journey, and to keep stuff like my website going, and keep helping. I mean, trust me, I've got all kinds of different tentacles into things that I'm into, and it gets kind of burdensome, like all the works that I got going on. And I appreciate anything. Again, like, it's very, very warmly welcomed. I do not request or require anything. I work off of love only. If you feel led to donate to me, that is by all means. It will be a seed that will be planted and grown. So your awakening, Rogue, your awakening started as a 9-year-old. What? That's kind of early, man. That's really, really early. I'm saying I was gaslit by my 4th grade teacher. Yeah, they all... I don't know if that was like a direct attack against you, but they're all indoctrinated. Like, all of these different professions. If you look at even bar attorneys, doctors, teachers, like, everything is funded to keep us into these little bubble boxes that are really, really messed up. I mean, it is what it is. And only by self-reflecting and enlightenment and doing your own work can you come out of that stuff to... dang, that was a quick video. Can you enlighten yourself enough to have enough knowledge to find the inner peace and the truth within? Like, that's where it all is. It's all inside the spiritual light that goes through everything. This natural realm is very, very deceitful and very, very temporary, and it deceives us all. It really does. So, guys, feel free to ask any and all questions. Like, this time is set aside. I'm going to try to come on here more. I had a video that I wanted to make, and I started, and I got robbed. I've been robbed by AI companies twice, and how they've gotten me. And I should have learned off the first one, but I tried this seed dance thing, and I was like, "Oh, seed dance is gonna be great." It's like $400 something. I'm like, this stuff is dope. I watched some of the previews of it. It's cool. So the problem that I'm having is there's something very particular that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach people about the 3 different bodies: the natural body, the spiritual body, and the commercial body. And so I pay this company, and then you have to it's like they charge more if you want it in 480 8K. They charge more if you want a bigger aspect ratio. They charge more if you want your video to be 12 seconds long. They charge more, on and on and on and on. And then so I'm trying to make a video where it's showing about the 3 different bodies. But here's the problem, is it comes out random. It's a random generator. And the words don't line up, and the faces and the people and all that stuff, and it's just like, boom, throwing $70 down the drain. Try again. And it's just like rolling the dice. You're just rolling the dice trying to hope that it gets something that you like. And then you have to modify it to get it to suit your needs. And it's just kind of like, dang. So I've just again, I haven't spent all the money left on the Seed Dance 2.0, but I think the way to approach it properly is going to be to you start off with an AI created image or an image that you like, and then try to feed it into that and stuff like that. And anyway, guys, feel free to ask any and all questions. That's what this time is set aside. This live will be on YouTube. I usually only stay on here for about an hour, pulling up on 50 minutes, because my throat will start getting tired of screaming at you guys. And I actually, like I said, I hacked a little bit earlier because I have a little bit of phlegm and stuff from the stuff that they're spraying, or the stuff I'm eating or drinking or whatever. I have a kitchen top filter that I use to try to get RO and get all the fluoride and stuff out of the water for my coffee in the morning. And self-care is it's good. It really is. Oh, I've been fasting. I've done that a few times. My next bout is going to be a 5-day fast, and I've done it 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and next one's going to be 5 days. And on around the 3rd or 4th day, you start to I was starting to get like a little bit lightheaded doing things, and it's because your system is rebooting. Like, it's starting to try to operate on a different software from what we've all been lied to and taught, that we're supposed to eat 3 heavily processed meals a day and stuff. And we're basically designed to eat natural, raw, organic, alkaline varieties of fruits. And what's wild is you go on Instagram or somewhere and you see all these fruits from all over the world that you've never seen before, because it's not profitable for a farmer to put it in the grocery store. It's like, dang, look at these things. I can only imagine all the healthy types of stuff for our body that's out there that we're not having access to. All right, guys, my throat's kind of getting kind of blah, blah. I was gonna wait. I wanted to come in here a few days ago, but like I said, I've been a little under the weather. Not too bad, but I'm feeling a lot better. But my throat is getting down. So again, feel free to reach out to me if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'm gonna wrap up. I love you all. I appreciate everything that we've done here on this walking journey. I'm gonna keep trying to make lives occasionally as I can. And again, I hope y'all have a good night, and thank you for joining me on this, and all the gifts and everything, all the hearts and everything. Love you guys. Enjoy yourself, and hair chicken grease, and love